Joe Biden and the Democrats are making a lot of hay over the last couple of years saying that Republicans are going to rip your Social Security away from you, but that's nothing new. Remember when Paul Ryan was throwing Granny off a cliff? Anytime anyone discusses any changes, modifications, or reforms to entitlements, somebody always screams that they're taking away your benefits. Even Donald Trump is using that as a weapon against Ron DeSantis and some of the ideas he's floated. DeSantis isn't alone. Nikki Haley and Mike Pence have also put forward proposals that would make some resolution for Social Security's problem that it's about to face. So, how do we solve it and still do it within the confines of American politics? That's the challenge. Joining us now is Rachel Greszler. She's a senior research fellow for the Center for the Federal Budget at Heritage Foundation. And Rachel, let's start with the premise. Does Social Security need fundamental reform? Does somebody have to do something?
Social Security is broken. It has been broken for decades, and every year that we wait, it gets exacerbated. And it is reckless to say that we can continue not doing anything and that we're simply going to protect Social Security benefits because the reality of the current situation is today, Congress does nothing. Everybody's benefits get cut within a decade by 23% across the board. It doesn't matter if you are 68 or you are 98. On average, those benefit cuts will be $5,000 per year, and they will increase over time.
So that's automatic. That's built into the law right now. So in other words, when President Biden says the Republicans are going to cut your benefits, what he's not saying is if the Republicans and Democrats don't do anything, your benefits are also going to get cut. Either way, your benefits are
That
getting cut.
anybody who says that they are not going to reform Social Security is saying they are voting for a 23% across the board benefit cut.
All right. And by the way, that also applies to President Trump. President Trump is using this as a weapon against Ron DeSantis in a pretty aggressive way, right? Every time that he has a chance, he says, don't forget, DeSantis is going to cut your Social Security. But that's going to happen anyway, whether we do something or not.
It absolutely is. And it could happen to the next person who is elected president. Right now, the Social Security actuaries say 2033, but that's moved up in recent years. It could be within the next president's 8-year term if they have 8 years.
So, I mean, listen, I'm old enough to remember when George W. Bush was running for president, and he just proposed allowing us to put some of our Social Security savings into kind of a 401k plan rather than the current plan that Social Security is based on. Is that still an option? Would that be one of the ways to do this? What do you think is the best of the proposals out there?
So there are two factors to reform. One is to address the insolvency of the system. It has built up $22.4 trillion in unfunded obligations. That is $172,000 for every household in America that this program has promised, but it doesn't have the money to pay. So you do have to address the solvency of the system and in ways that don't penalize people who are already retired or close to retirement. But the way that you get out from underneath this program that's really a terrible deal for average Americans and especially for younger Americans is to have an option to get out of the system. It would be something like the personal accounts that Bush had proposed, but I would make it optional as opposed to forcing everybody into that. And there really are common sense reforms here that can be done. And I want to applaud any lawmaker or potential nominee that is willing to talk about them because not talking about it is just saying you want benefits to be cut.
It seems, though, whenever somebody actually comes forward with some proposal to fix this problem, the temptation for the person's political opponent is just too great to pass up. It's so easy to scare people and use this as a political weapon. No one's ever been harmed by using this as a political weapon. People have only been harmed politically by actually proposing reforms, and then, boy, the lions are unleashed against you.
Yeah, and that's where I think they need to turn it on the other side and say, okay, if you aren't for cutting benefits, are you for what the CBO and the Social Security actuaries say is going to be somewhere between a $2,400 per year tax hike and a $3,500 per year tax hike for the average household? That is just to keep the current system as it is now. It's no increase in benefits. You add that up over the years, and that's taking away Americans' ability to save on their own throughout their lifetimes.
Rachel Greszler has been writing about this over at Heritage Foundation and over at the Daily Signal. She's done all the research and the numbers are there. The only question is whether we have politicians with the fortitude to be able to actually understand the numbers and do something about it. And well, Rachel, your work at Heritage will certainly go a long way to getting us to that point. Thank you so much for joining us and explaining much of it to us.
Thank you.
Did I just say we're waiting for politicians to have courage and fortitude? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. What am I thinking? We're going to be waiting quite a long time. That's it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. In the meantime, I'll see you on the radio.